the Muslim Brotherhood has to be designated a terrorist organization, full stop. They are a terrorist organization. They're really the underpinning and foundational element of all the other terrorist organizations. They're all splinter groups. That's the railhead. I'm pressed for time, so I want to pivot to Venezuela. The president's on a triumphant tour of East Asia, just had a magnificent, I think the most important meetings ever in Japan. The Japanese are with the Taiwanese and also certain elements in South Korea, adamantly anti-CCP. That's why this meeting on Thursday is so big. We're going to cover it live 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. or to whenever it's over tomorrow night. Pasoba is going to join me. Many other experts. We're going to go through all of this. But the war and rumors of war in Latin America right now, we have a carrier battle group off of Venezuela. I know you've been all over this topic, too. Give me your thoughts.
Well, look, I think that this is a lack of pertinent information being given to the president. We're being told that this is about fentanyl. We're being told that the reason why we need to send warships to Venezuela is to combat the flow of fentanyl. Well, the facts are this, Steve. Fentanyl isn't produced in Venezuela. Okay, the chemicals that produce fentanyl come from China, and the fentanyl is produced in Mexico. And so, if we're going to try to curb the influence of the CCP, shouldn't we actually be trying to negotiate with Venezuela? Shouldn't we be trying to actually bring Maduro to the table? Current numbers, right? These are the numbers, Steve. I want to break this down for your viewers. Over 1 million barrels of oil per day are coming out of Venezuela. You know where majority of those barrels of oil are going to? China. 916,000 of the 1 million barrels per day are currently going to China. So how exactly is Venezuela being punished by sanctions right now? They're not. China is actually purchasing the oil that the United States is not purchasing from Venezuela. And the CCP continues to expand their influence and their presence in the Western Hemisphere, which is a national security threat. And if we really do go into Venezuela, if we invade Venezuela and we have a conflict or a full-blown war in Venezuela, that is going to turn into a war with China, because the Chinese have thousands of military-aged men who are prepared to be deployed, who are currently in Venezuela. There hasn't really been a lot of reporting on this, Steve, but these Chinese men are being stationed there in the refineries, working in the refineries currently in Venezuela, and the Chinese now actually have their own physical refineries in Venezuela. And so, with tensions rising with China, I think that we really need to, take a step back and think, do we really want to hand over the world's largest oil reserves to China? Do we really want to hand over the world's largest gold supply to China? Do we really want to hand over some of the largest rare earth mineral supplies to China? I mean, this is a very resource-rich environment that we could be benefiting from as Americans. We talked about drill, baby, drill, no more wars. And yet all of these decisions coming out of the Department of War and Marco Rubio's Department of State is completely contrary to what President Trump campaigned on. No new wars, peace through strength, and drill, baby, drill. So I just think that it's in the best interest of our own country to secure those oil assets, to secure that gold, to secure those minerals, and to try to find a way to bring Maduro to the table. I think that, look, I'm not going to whitewash Maduro's record, but this administration has decided to kind of pick and choose which dictators and which tyrants around the world they want to play footsie with. And again, I'm a supporter of the president's, but you can't say that we're going to lift sanctions on Syria and we're going to talk about how amazing Jolani is when he's an ISIS head chopper for the sake of allowing the Syrian government to improve their economy with oil, when, he's currently leading and orchestrating the slaughter of Druze and religious minorities in Syria, to the point where our own State Department yesterday had to issue an emergency declaration and commitment of humanitarian aid to the Druze. Okay, you can't do that at the same time and then say, oh, well, Maduro is such a tyrant, and oh, Maduro is such a dictator. Oh, we have to keep sanctions on Venezuela. If we're going to bring Syria to the table, what's the excuse for not bringing Maduro to the table if in the end it means American energy dominance? That's my argument. That's how I see it. At the end of the day, I don't think that Maduro, I personally don't think that Maduro is worse than Jolani. I think that if this administration, the State Department, is willing to play footsie with jihadist Muslims, they should be willing to make a deal with Maduro.